Recorded. Okay. All right. There are some people that are not able to join us today. Some folks are on vacation and others have to work. But I'm glad to see you here today. Okay. So let us start to lower that volume, George. Thank you. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have for today's meeting agenda. So George, if you could pull that up for us. Here it comes. Okay. It looks like we have a short agenda, but there's a lot in it. So I am trying to keep us to a 1 hour time frame because I do respect your time. And I apologize for the past when I went overtime a lot. It's just that there was so much to cover, but I know sometimes our brains cannot handle too much information at one time. So welcome to Zoom, everyone. We have special recognition today that is good for us as a team. We have a video. It's about 10 minutes or less about the market shifting. Is it shifting? And what do we look for in those signs of a shift? And Brian, and I don't know if Maria is going to be able to join us today, talking about appraisal contingency and anything else with the mortgage industry happening. And then, of course, we'll look at our Brush of Love marketing and update. Okay, and then Beverly and I have a special surprise of some additional motivation for our team. So George, if you could take that off screen. Thank you. And you know what, over the weekend, I just wanted to make you aware of it, is Bob Masucci had texted me that a realtor was shot and killed in Huntington Beach over the weekend. And I'm not sure if any of you heard the news. There's a short clip, but I'm not going to play. I'll just tell you the basics of it. There was a property dispute between the sellers, and the house was in probate. So the agent was there to list the home, but because it was in probate, there was one of the brothers, I guess, was the one living in the property, and he did not want to have the house sold from under him. And so he shot 3 or 4 people. He got shot himself. Oh, here comes Bob. He can probably tell us a little more. But anyway, the realtor was killed, unfortunately. And I mentioned to Bob that perhaps the person who was resistant to change should have been the victim. But anyway, I forgot that I'm recording this. Bob, thank you for being here with us. And because you were in law enforcement, maybe you could give us just a quick overview for safety in situations where it might be contentious. I don't know if that's even a possibility, but what's your expert opinion on that?
Since the other day when I first heard about it, and then I talked to my friend at Huntington Beach, the police department there, I've had a lot of time to kind of think about this, because there's, as it relates, I should say, to real estate. I guess when we go into listing appointments, a lot of times our gears are turning towards the real estate end of it, and we kind of just brush away or don't even think about what are the possibilities of other overshadowing entities coming into play at the same time. And so, I had, like I said, I had a long time to think about this. I guess the questions that we want to ask ahead of time would be, what's the circumstances? Why are you selling your house? Or why do you want to sell the house? And leave it open with that for the sellers to talk to you, because they may let out stuff that you won't even think about asking. For instance, the house has been vacant, or it's in a trust where there's 4 trustees and 3 want to sell it, 1 doesn't want to sell it. Okay, then that'll obviously open up your avenue of questioning a little bit more to say, why don't they want to sell it? What is the resistance? How aggressive have they been? Have they filed a lawsuit against you? Have they challenged the trust? And just with that, I think you're going to get a lot of information. I mean, obviously, this case, looking at it, in hindsight and Monday morning quarterbacking it, I think the family probably knew that there was some real hostilities going on, but to show up, the family members and the two real estate people who showed up, I don't know whether they were announced, whether they knew that they were going to come to the house or what the situation is there. But I just think a little bit more questioning for your own safety would be paramount to your survival.
Yeah. So Bob, you would recommend that on a phone call before?
Oh,
you
absolutely.
go there?
Even an email. I mean, phone call, email, whatever, some kind of communication, just so you kind of get a lay of the land before you walk in on something that you may not want to be there. And it sounds like, these people probably had no clue that this person was going to be armed when they got there, because he shot all three.
Yeah, so that was just very unfortunate. So I would
yeah.
think that a trust that's a successor trustee or probate, which this particular property was, or a contentious divorce could be a sign for us to be aware that there might be possible danger. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring this to your attention because, as Bob said, sometimes we're focused on the real estate part and we want to get the listing, but we don't want to sacrifice our safety over getting the listing. So thank you for bringing that to my attention, Bob. And
Sure.
I think it's good for us to just always be aware because we just never know.
Yeah.
I wanted to recognize that Rasha has a new listing. Rasha, are you able to tell us a little bit about it? You just put it on the market recently.
Yes, I just have a listing in Hemet for an income property. It's 4 units, and it's ready income for whoever is going to buy it.
Are the units occupied?
Yes.
All 4?
All 4, but one of them might leave. We're at this point is like, it's like he wants to leave and he wants to go to another location, and we're not sure if he's going to continue or not. So this is the only one.
Okay, well, and the price is?
790.
790,000 in Hemet, 4 units.
Yes.
Bob, you have a question?
What's the bedroom bathroom configuration, and do you have a gross multiplier?
So 2 of them 2 bed 2 bath, and 2 of them 2 bed 1 bath, and the total gross income is 6,800.
Or 6,000 or 6,800 per month?
68,100 per year.
Okay. Okay, that would be great if our office could double end it. Ellen, I don't know if you can speak, but Ellen had a listing in San Jacinto recently. It was just on the market for a little while. And she actually had our office double ended. Miguel Galaviz brought the buyer. So you know what? In this competitive market, we can help each other out. And I believe Rita is not on the line, but Rita has a listing in Colton. And I think it's a condo townhome for 270,000. Good price, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, I believe. So 270,000. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. Just so that, in this competitive market, it might behoove you to see if you have a buyer for those listings. So, and I thank Ellen for being supportive of our office and taking, of course, she was mindful of what her sellers wanted, but she also was being helpful to our office. So this is Miguel's second transaction. He actually closed his first home sale last week, and he's already finished his sky slope. Can you believe it? That's really good news. Anyway, okay. Let me just do a few more recognitions, and I'm going to ask George if he could put the PowerPoint slide on for me, because I'd like to recognize our agents who have taken action with our Brush of Love campaign. Yes. Okay, as you know, last week, August 5th, was the beginning of our Brush of Love company campaign. So the first one out of the gate was Deborah Little. Let's take a look at what she did. So George, see this? She did a Facebook post. Her Facebook post, you'll see, was posted at 12:04 a.m. She was the first in our office, but I bet she was the first in the whole company. I will try to find that out, but congratulations there, Deborah. And then Deborah went a step further and she posted another post at 12:16 a.m. So both of those were done very early, August 5th, the day that we opened up. So congratulations to Deborah for doing that. Deborah, are you able to put in your chat how many leads you've gotten so far? So we'll find out later. But oh, she has 2 replies, and I believe one was from Facebook that requested the entry form online, and then she was able to get that lead. They registered online. So thank you for letting us know that, Deborah. Next slide, George. Now this, but I just wanted to bring up, excitement must lead to immediate action or you will lose the power of momentum. More dreams die because we fail to seize the moment. So do it now. So Deborah epitomizes that her immediate action happened like 4 minutes after the time we opened the gate. So congratulations there, Deborah. Good job. Next slide, please. Then next here is Scott Magookin. You'll see this. Scott posted on August 5th, also the day of our opening at 1:26 p.m. So you'll see that he put in that little video with the brush of love. So the next one, George. And Evelyn Chu, she also posted her social media post on August 5th, the day of the opening, at 3:04 p.m. So congratulations to the 2 of you for getting out the gate as soon as possible. And then let's look at the next slide, George. And then Myra, she posted her video on Facebook yesterday. And what I just appreciate about Myra is she was having a difficult time with the Resource Center, but she reached out and together we worked on it. So I want to put the next slide on. This way to go for perseverance, because it's not always easy, but we got to keep persevering. And then the last slide, George, which is our quote for the week that was on your agenda. There is no passion to be found playing small in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. And that was from Nelson Mandela, which I think many of you know. So I love the saying about playing big, because our smallness will not benefit the world. So we need to let ourselves shine as much as we can, because we have this one life to live. How are we going to play it big? Okay, so if you can just take that out. And welcome to those who joined us at the meeting. Ragnar, you're here. Renee, I'm glad to see you. Betty Jo, Raymond. So thank you for joining us. Beverly, thank you. There you are. Okay. As you know, the market continues to shift, and we have been competing as buyers agents with many buyers. So I just wanted to give you an update of what's happening in the market. Although you'll notice, you know, our California area is still up there, but here are the 5 signs to be watching for. So if George, you can play this video, and thank you to Tom for giving us a YouTube subscription so no commercials come up. So hold on a second. Yes, yeah, we see it.
So existing home sales in the US dropped for 4 out of the last 5 months. And new home sales have decreased for 3 months in a row, according to the US Census Bureau. As I reported last month, pending home sales, which of course is a measure of signed contracts between a home buyer and home seller, those rebounded strongly in May, reaching their highest reading for the month of May since 2005. However, pending home sales decreased 1.9% from May to June of this year. Even the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors, which is Lawrence Yun, stated the following. He said, the moderate slowdown in sales is largely due to the huge spike in home prices. Lawrence Yun predicts that mortgage interest rates may increase later this year, which could cool off this hot housing market. In the meantime, CoreLogic reported today that home prices reached their highest levels since 1979. So much so that home prices in the US increased 17% year over year in June. The increase of home prices was fueled by historically low mortgage rates, low housing supply, and a rebounding economy. According to the National Association of Realtors, or NAR, home prices have increased 23% from a year ago, and that was the second highest percentage recorded since January 1999. Mortgage interest rates have fallen greatly since November 2018, and they have more or less been at historically low levels of around 3% for about a year now. Combine that with a historically low amount of houses available for sale, and that's a recipe for home prices to increase greatly. For example, the median sold price in the US has skyrocketed this year. It has hit all-time highs over the last 4 months in a row. But as home prices continue to increase, this causes affordability issues. It reaches a point where simply home buyers quit or they get priced out of their market. According to Lawrence Yun, mortgage interest rates are likely to increase this year and into 2022. With a slight uptick in mortgage rates, he expects home sales to dip. He also said that demand easing and housing starts improving for brand new houses, home sale prices are expected to increase at a slower pace of 4.4% in 2022 compared with 14.1% in 2021. But the big question is, what are we seeing today that shows that home buyer demand is weakening? First of all, mortgage applications for home purchases have been decreasing. So according to the Mortgage Bankers Association, or the MBA, they reported that their purchase index decreased for the second week in a row to its lowest level since May 2020 and has now declined on an annual basis for the past 3 months in a row. Joel Kahn, who's an associate vice president at the MBA, stated the following. Potential buyers continue to be put off by extremely high home prices and increased competition. I have to be honest, it's very challenging for home buyers right now. So for example, about 23% of all sales in the US are being sold to cash buyers compared with only 16% last year. In addition, houses in the US are selling very quickly on average. So the average days on the market, or the average time it takes to sell a house, is only 17 days compared with 24 days from a year ago. This may be why home purchases by investors have increased, yet first-time homebuyer purchases have decreased. A second reason, or second indicator, that shows that our housing market may be slowing down is due to the fact that housing inventory, which of course is the total number of houses listed for sale, across the nation has increased over the last 4 months in a row for existing houses. Housing inventory hasn't been this high since November 2020. In addition, housing inventory for brand new houses has also been increasing. So have a look at this. This is from the US Census Bureau, and they reported here that the number of new houses for sale has increased in 7 out of the last 8 months. In addition, the month supply of brand new houses in the US has reached 6.3 months. What this basically means is that at the current sales pace of brand new houses, all the houses listed for sale right now, all the new houses listed for sale, would be sold in 6.3 months. And keep in mind, a month supply of 4 to 6 months is really indicative of a balanced real estate market. The month supply of brand new houses has increased a whopping 46% compared to 1 year ago. However, as I mentioned in my video from about a week ago, these numbers are a little bit skewed. And this is because a lot of home builders right now are simply pouring concrete for their foundations, but not constructing houses yet. However, even if home builders do this, the US Census Bureau records these as technically houses for sale. A third indicator that may be indicative that our housing market may be slowing down is the fact that home sales have been decreasing. Existing home sales in the US have skyrocketed since June of last year, but sales have dropped for 4 out of the last 5 months, and new home sales have decreased for 3 months in a row. Redfin also recently reported that pending home sales posted their smallest increase in over a year. They said most signs point to a cooling housing market. Pending home sales posted their smallest year-over-year increase since late June of 2020. The supply of homes for sale continued to plateau as the number of new listed houses for sale followed its slow seasonal decline. A fourth indicator that a real estate market may be cooling off is due to the fact that we have preliminary data from the National Association of Realtors that shows that new listings is now outpacing contracts signed. This new report from the National Association of Realtors shows that contract signings, which is when a home seller accepts an offer from a home buyer, those fell by 7.4% from 1 year ago. On the other hand, new listings rose by 2.8%. As you can see here on this graphic, ever since May of 2020, the number of contracts signed has outpaced the number of new listings. In other words, demand has been outpacing supply. But have a look at what happened more recently this year. So in May or June of this year, it shifted as the number of new listings has been higher than the number of contracts signed. This could be a signal that home buyer demand is decreasing. Before I give you my real estate market predictions, a fifth reason why our housing market may be slowing down is due to the fact that we have a decrease of foot traffic for houses listed for sale. For example, showings per house, which reflects the strength of home buyer interest per house listed for sale, decreased 17% year over year. And this decrease of foot traffic is happening across the nation. This is because showings per card decrease year over year for all regions. In the Northeast, it decreased by 43%, the Midwest by 24%, the South by 18%, and in the West, it decreased by 6% year over year. As you guys know, I am not a real estate fortune teller, but here's one possible scenario of what could happen next. Number one, home prices could decrease in the coming months. In my opinion, this is entirely possible given the fact that housing inventory for existing houses and brand new houses has been increasing. Please keep in mind though that if home prices decrease in the coming months, this is entirely normal, so let me explain. So have a look at this. This is from Redfin for home sale prices. The gray line there at the bottom represents what happened in 2019, which of course was a more normal real estate market. Home prices increased from around February through July before declining through October. Obviously that didn't happen in 2020 as home prices increased until late last year, but I think all of us would agree that 2020 was a complete anomaly. So if we have a more normal real estate market this year, then we may expect home prices to decline into the fall season. My second real estate market prediction, which of course could be entirely wrong, but this is just my opinion, but I believe that as more and more news reports get published that the housing boom is over, this could stoke fear of homeowners who get scared that their home values may decrease. In other words, home sellers get FOMO and they decide to list their houses for sale rather than waiting it out. This in turn could increase housing inventory further, which could put downward pressure on home prices if home buyer demand doesn't increase. Now, don't get me wrong here because I don't want to give you false hope if you're a home buyer, because I'm not currently seeing anything right now that's telling me there's going to be a housing market crash or that home prices are going to be falling greatly. It still remains a strong seller's market on average across the nation, even if the housing market is cooling right now. However, I'll definitely keep you posted as more data becomes available. And of course, this is pure speculation and I could be entirely wrong, but let me know what you guys think. Please comment below. And of course, don't forget to check.
Okay, just a quick update about the housing market. And I don't know if you guys know, he mentioned the sellers might be experiencing FOMO. You know what FOMO means? It means fear of missing out. And so I've heard this term before on Facebook, you know, where they said people always post because they are fearing of missing out. So, so that we're applying this to our real estate market. But we'll see, because home prices are still going up. But I notice, I think from what I've heard from our agents, that there are less buyers competing for the same house. Tom Huang, I'm not sure if you're able to speak, but you know, you recently put in an offer, but you were competing with just how many? Are you able to share?
Yes, it's a condo listed asking for 499,000, and we put an offer for 530, and they were compete among like 3 offers only.
Okay, so but unfortunately you didn't get it because it went over that 530 price, right? But
Yeah, there's one offer at 549, almost like 550,
okay.
and that one got got the bid. Yes.
Yes, so, but the foot traffic is not as much, because I think Ellen had a recent listing out in Palmdale, and they had a lot of offers. I'm not sure how many, Ellen, I don't know if you could type it in, but there were more. I think also when I listed in May, I had 26 offers. So that's a big difference from 26 offers down to 3 offers. Oh, she had 18 offers. So so you got your house on the market just in time, Ellen. And so, Tom, we continue to wish you luck in your search, but perhaps the market is a little bit changing. So we just need to be aware. And with that, I'd like to bring on Brian and Maria regarding what you're seeing from your end.
All right. Thank you, Leilani. Yeah, so, you know, the video is a great kind of overview of what's going on in the nation as a whole. More specific, you know, in our area, Southern California, I think it's we're always kind of like ahead of the curve. So, you know, when it comes down to, you know, the shift in the market, yeah, there's buyers that are basically getting priced out, that they can't afford, you know, to buy anything. Those are the clients that are kind of falling and sitting it out right now. But the people that are qualified, the people that can afford these higher than normal sales prices, those are the ones that are still out there, still trying to compete. And so what that brings me into our talking point about the appraisal contingency. Now, the appraisal contingency can be your best friend, or it can be, you know, not so good of a friend. And the reason why is because, you know, the whole idea of the appraisal contingency is that, you know, if the property appraised value is less than what the contract is written for, then, you know, that contingency is there to allow the buyer to renegotiate with the seller to get to that appraised value. Now, the way it can be your best friend is if you're competing in like a multiple counter situation, and your client, you know, if you're just like putting the highest bid possible, but, you know, in your offer sheet, you're putting in there, in, you know, the terms that, you know, the sales price, let's just say, is, you know, X, but your buyer is not going to pay more than 5,000 or 10,000 over the appraised value. That's the kind of verbiage that we're seeing where the contracts are being accepted, because, you know, all the agents, listing agent, buyer's agent, everyone knows that the prices are a little inflated. So if you put that kind of verbiage in your appraisal or in your contract, that kind of gives you that ability to say, hey, look, you know, my client really wants the house. They're willing to come up this much over the appraised value, and we're seeing that a lot of sellers are taking those offers. The way that, you know, the appraisal contingency can really hurt the buyer, and I've seen this happen, you know, in deals that we had to rescue and stuff, where the offer was put in without an appraisal contingency, meaning that the agent was very confident in the value that they were asking for. The buyer had, you know, enough funds in case, you know, the the actual appraisal was less, so they were kind of ready for it. But to make a long story short, the appraisal came in lower, and so they had to bridge the gap. Now, in those situations, if your borrower or your client has the money to make it happen, then yeah, writing a non appraisal contingency offer is definitely going to stand out. It's definitely going to give you kind of like a competitive advantage. But you really want to make sure that it's going to be in the client's best interest. And so what we always recommend, when it comes down to all the contingencies, we go based off of the approval, so the approval is going to have a list of conditions. As long as the borrower provides all the conditions that are on the approval, we always say that, based on our approval, all the conditions have been satisfied. So yeah, you're good to remove your contingencies. But we always, make sure that it's the borrower or the client, the buyer, that is making that decision to remove their contingencies, because it's their contract, it's their purchase. So you always want to make sure that we're checking with everyone, make sure we're on the same page. But ultimately, it's the buyer's decision to remove their contingency. So I hope that I kind of really got some answers for you guys on the contingency part of the appraisal. Even with the appraisals right now, the appraisal turn times. So just to give you guys like an idea of what's going on, and I know Ragner's touched on this before, but the appraisers right now, they're all basically, the only way that I know how to describe it is price gouging. They get 5, 10 appraisal orders, and they basically say, well, we have so much orders right now, we can't do yours unless your borrower pays an extra $200. So a normal appraisal is $550. They're asking for a $200 additional fee, so that's like $750 just to do an appraisal. And then if there's a shortened contingency period on the appraisal, normally it's like 17 days. If they're writing like a 10-day appraisal contingency or something lower than that, and then we got to ask for a rush on it, they're going to charge an additional fee on that. So we really want to make sure that when we're writing the offer, we really set the right expectation that, okay, look, if we're going to go with a lower appraisal or like a appraisal contingency, time frame, and we're going to put 10,000 over the appraised value, and we're going to get the appraisal back in 7 days, 10 days. Well, then we just have to let the buyer know up front that, okay, originally the cost is going to be $550, but with the rush fee and all that, it may come up to $700, $800, depending on how much the rush fee is going to be. So as long as we're setting that expectation up front, buyers are okay with it, because they know they're in a competing situation, and if they're going to do what they got to do to stand out, then that's kind of what it takes to get the offer accepted. So aside from all that, I've been doing some research. This is something that kind of additionally that we were talking about the market shifting. Some of the data that I've been reading, I know we've been talking that there may be this wave of foreclosures that's coming into the market based on people being in forbearance. So I wanted to let you guys know what I found out. So a lot of the data that's showing is that, because there's so much equity in properties right now, that the loan servicer, and this is, what the government has required for the Forbearance Act. So basically anyone that goes into forbearance, and if they're going to be coming out of forbearance, the company that they're making their mortgage payment to is the loan servicer. The loan servicer has to accommodate the homeowner by either modifying their loan, or giving them some sort of additional repayment plan, or just ultimately just changing their, like, getting them caught up. So they have different options with the loan servicer, but by the Forbearance Act, the servicer by law has to accommodate them and work with them to get them out of that forbearance. And so because of that, and because of the amount of equity that we're seeing in properties, this wave of foreclosures that we thought was going to hit the market, it's not hitting it like how we thought. So I just kind of wanted to add that in, so that way you guys have that kind of like background information on that part of it. But other than that, guys, I mean, the market is still really good. I always talk about, we can control what we can control. And so if we're out there, making sure that we're prospecting and we're trying to find the clients that can move forward. You know, that's really what it's going to take to build your pipeline, to build those clients that are going to be in escrow. Because, you know, not every deal is going to close, not every buyer is going to buy a house, not every not every situation is going to work out. So we always want to make sure that we're doing the things that we can do to get us through these times. And right now the rates are still really good. You know, we have FHA and VA at like 2.875, conventional like at 3%. You know, all of these are just based on scenarios with, you know, really good credit scores. But, you know, based on the credit score, you know, the rate could be a little bit different. All depends on when they lock the rate. So just want to throw that out there and make sure that everyone knows that the rates are still really good. Yeah, the inventory is coming back up a little bit. And so, you know, the silver lining here is that basically, you know, the demand has kind of fallen off because a lot of people have kind of just been priced out of the market. You know, the people that originally could qualify for 350, you know, those homes now are just, you know, not available. So, you know, that's really what you want to let your clients know, that, hey, you know, if you're not able to come up to, you know, what the average prices are, then, you know, I think you should really kind of sit this out, or maybe, you know, think about, you know, another option. But other than that, you know, I really want to thank everyone for all of the, you know, the support that we've been getting, you know, all of the clients that we've been qualifying, and all of the leads that we've been getting. So other than that, I mean, does anyone have any questions on anything?
Brian, can I ask about VA and FHA buyers? Would you
Sure.
recommend that the buyers remove their appraisal contingency?
So here's the thing: if a buyer removes their appraisal contingency, there's let me just talk about FHA. So if a FHA buyer wants to remove their appraisal contingency, they totally can. You know, they can write their offer without it, but they have to be aware that if for whatever reason the appraisal doesn't come in at the value that they're looking for, or if the appraisal comes in with required repairs, they're going to have to be aware that if there's anything like that, that the buyer is going to have to do those repairs, and that the buyer is going to have to bring in the difference to bridge the gap of what the appraised value is and what the contract price is. So if it's an FHA buyer, I would, you know, if that's the strategy that they want to do, I would just let them know up front that, yeah, I think it's going to work, but, you know, this is the situation that could happen that, you know, we could get into. With a VA, so the VA so the VA it's a big myth. You know, there's allowables, non-allowables. You know, a lot of agents kind of are unsure about this. So a lot of agents are kind of not looking at VA offers because of that. But I just really want to let you guys know that the VA allows for the veteran to pay their normal and customary closing costs. So, and also they allow for the veteran to pay for the normal and customary inspections. So a lot of times there's some confusion that, you know, the seller has to pay for termite, or the seller has to pay for you know, whatever inspection that the VA, the borrower, is going to need. But that's not the case. The guidelines are pretty clear on that, you know, whatever's normal and customary, the veteran is allowed to pay. It's just those junk fees, or, you know, additional fees and stuff like that, that the borrower is not allowed to pay. So if it's a VA appraisal contingency that you're trying to write an offer on, I would just let the veteran know that, hey, look, you're going to get you're going to write this offer with the VA loan. It's a great loan. You know, it's all about, you know, how you explain it to the listing agent. Hey, you know, our client's VA, they're zero down, but that doesn't mean that they're not qualified for this house. They're writing an offer with zero contingencies. So they got the cash. They have the money to bridge any gap or to do anything, any repairs. They're willing to take on any termite stuff. So if you set that expectation up front with the buyer and with the listing agent, and everyone's okay with it, you know, I don't see any issues without writing the contract without the appraisal contingency. The contingency is just there, almost as kind of like an ace in your back pocket, unless you want to renegotiate sales price, or if you want to renegotiate something. But if you write your contract without it, it's totally okay. It just has to be upfront that everyone knows about that. So there's no surprises with, you know, any kind of things that are called out on the appraisal.
Okay, thank you,
Uh-huh.
Brian.
Sure.
Maria, did you want to say anything?
Yes, I do. I apologize. My camera isn't working. But just to touch a little bit on what Brian was saying, the one thing I do want to mention is that, yes, we are coming across right now where, the houses are selling for more than the purchase price. So the buyers have to come in with more money. Here again, this is where I want to bring in CalHAPA. This is where CalHAPA can really help people out, because if they have their own money, if they have, say, $20,000, they can use those $20,000 for whatever the difference is in, the purchase price plus whatever it is that they're offering over and above it. So that's going to be their money. They can use the CalHAPA down payment assistance for the regular closing costs, for the regular down payment. And the other thing is that we are really finding that there are more and more CalHAPA offers that are being accepted. We did go through a time where nobody wanted to look at them because the houses were going so quickly. But I think people are realizing at this point that even though they do have some money, they can use that money to perhaps offer higher and above, and yet they still have their base. CalHAPA is, their turnaround time is, 2 to 3 days right now. It's nothing like it used to be where it would take a week to 2 weeks to be able to get their offer. They are moving quickly. They're very digital now. They've come up a long way as far as how their loans are being handled. Their purchase price is whatever the conforming rate is, whatever county you're in. The income limits, I believe, is at like 138 here in San Bernardino and Riverside County. Goes up to, I'm not exactly sure, but I want to say LA County is at about 175. San Diego is at like 2 or 3. So it's very reasonable as far as the income is concerned. And a lot of people will qualify for it. All we have to do is perhaps offer it, and that just, it's a matter of talking to them and finding out where they're at and what their needs are. That's pretty much all I have. I just really wanted to bring that up and let you guys know, don't back off of CalHAPA or any down payment assistance. We're really seeing an up, it's really beginning to come into play again, as opposed to a few months back where sellers weren't even looking at first-time home buyers with down payment assistance. So other than that, that's pretty much all I have.
Okay, thank you very much, Maria and Brian. And I guess the takeaway from all of this is that, some of our buyers may have been priced out of the marketplace, but we could still work with our buyers to see, maybe there's less competition. So let's just be diligent in moving forward, and that there are different creative ways to structure the loan. And I am such a big proponent of being in connection with the listing agent, because people work with people they like. So it's good if you can connect with the listing agent before you submit the offer, because when they get to know you, they want to work with someone who will close the deal. And if you can share with them that you know what you're doing, you can close the deal, then you have more of an opportunity to get your offer accepted. Okay. Thank you very much for sharing all that, Maria and Brian, and just encouraging all of you to keep moving forward. And we'll be closing. I want to just discuss about our company campaign of Brush of Love. So let me just show you some of the documents or the marketing pieces that's available for us in the marketing resource. So George, if you could show the next slide, the one. The number 5, the Brush of Love flyer. Oh, okay. Well, let's do the video first. This is the video that some of you have seen. Hopefully you have. This is the one I shared that Myra downloaded or uploaded into her SkySlope. So it's only 15 seconds. You could put it into your social media. Okay, so we'll pause that. And just to say, I noticed that our agents have been putting their phone number and their name and say, contact me or message me on your social media. So, you know, that's a little bit interesting to see that video. Let's look at the next one, which is the flyer that you can personalize to yourself. And this is through Berkshire Hathaway Resource Center. And when you log on, your contact information will be put on it automatically. See, so you can see that, and you scroll down at the bottom, you'll see it's my contact information that's in there. Okay. And then if you can show the next flyer, George, it's the entry form. And I will take a look at this. So what I've done is I merged these two files together. So you have a front and a back. And if you give this to your clients, you can even put your name on it, which I will show you in a moment. And, yeah. All right, so if you could unshare that. So no, let me show you the flyer first. So I'll see if you can see this. Unshare. See this? See, here's my front, and then you'll see there's a back. Okay, so you can print this at our office. I don't know, Myra, did you have luck yesterday using the PDF fill? You might have to unmute yourself, Myra.
Yes, I did. I did it.
Okay, great, great. And then George, if you could show the last one is the postcard. There's a postcard as well on the BHHS Resource Center, if you could show that. And again, it's marketed to your name, okay? And your DRE number should show up as well. So this is the front, and if you can show it to the back. So see, there it is, all the information. And then you'll see there's a visit your website, and it will, you know, it'll bring them to the entry form section. Okay, now, Beverly, do you want to share that you have some prices for printing and mailing out this postcard?
Okay, the mailing is going, mailing has, we'll start with the printing. The printing, based on printing 5,000 total postcards, which like I'm saying, that would be like if you printed 1,000 for 5 different people, the price is $135 for 1,000. So however we come up with the combination. We could do 10 people at 500 a piece, and the cost would be $80 for the 500. 300 would be between 50 and 60. That we would have to see how many people do to see what that price would actually land at. Mailing, there's a $75 setup, and then it's based on whether you want a standard rate postage or first class. The standard rate is just about just under 50 cents. And the first class is pricey. First class is almost about $1. And that is going to be based on your pieces. So it'd be $75 plus however many number of pieces you mail. But that would be everything. Then if it gets through there and they address it, mail it, have it, ship it out.
So maybe you can share with us later, because I don't know if you added it up. How much is 500 postcards sent out? You know, at the
Right. Like I said, if we do it, I can go ahead and put a rate saying, okay, you send out 500. If you use standard rate, it's this much. If you use first class rate, it's this much.
So it might be like
They can do
$175.
then where they would put their permit on it, and then they would address them and ship them all out.
Okay, so just a tool for you, if you know, you could use it in the future. Okay, so let me show you, if I can, how to personalize the entry form on the back. One of the things that I heard, or Beverly shared with me before, was that at the meeting, let me see if this will work. At the meeting yesterday or Monday, that only 50% of the people that signed up on the online entry form put in the name of the agent, and 50% didn't. So I wanted to show you this. See, this is the back of this is the entry form. So let me see if I can move this. Do you see where here it says tools? If you click on this, it'll bring you to this page here. You can say fill and sign. So you click this open, and do you see there's a text message here? You can change the color I usually leave it to blue. And then I'll bring it down to that field where it says BHHS agent, and you could type in your name. So I'll type in my name. And then you can make it bigger, you know, so that it stands out. You can even change it to red if you want, so it really stands out. Anyway, then you just save this document. Okay, so I'm saving it here. So then when you print on your on the printer, it'll just print it out automatically. Okay, if you need help, I can help you do this and walk you through it a little bit more. Oh, let me just share with you this, sorry, is you know, one of the things with this flyer is that it's huge. Share that again. It goes all the way to the edge. See this, how it is like this. If you normally print, it might cut off this part like right here. So when you go to the printer, see here, I'm going to click printer. And I'll pick our printer, which is our color copy machine at the office. But you'll see here it says fit, because right now part of this is cut off. If you click fit, it'll make it fit onto that paper so it doesn't get cut off. Okay, so I just wanted to basically share some of those kind of hacks. But what I thought I wanted to share with you is, you know, last night, oh, let me see if I can share this. I have 3 people so far that signed up. You'll see there's 2 right here. That was on August 5th and then August 9th. And last night, I actually entered this person into it in there, and it still came out. So let me unshare this. So if you can get their information, get the flyer back from them, you can enter it yourself and make sure to put your name in that agent section. Okay, or what you could do is email the flyer to the person with your name already attached, but tell them to complete it and email the flyer back to you. Then you can input it into the entry form section. That way you get the credit. Okay, so Beverly and I thought of a way to perhaps make this a little funner for our office. And, you know, we were talking about different games. And have you guys played the quarter game where you take a shot when you I didn't play it, but I've seen it played. So I don't know, Beverly, you probably played it.
Yeah.
Explain how that works.
Well, I can't explain. I have to, it's been so long, I have to pull the whole thing back up again and start to get the stuff out.
Yeah.
But, oh, never mind. I was gonna say, I thought I had something else here.
So, okay, well, I don't know. So what we're gonna do is instead of drinking a shot, for every entry that you bring to the office, you'll get 1 quarter put into our, Beverly, show that bowl. Or
Well,
whatever.
it's falling apart. It's glitter stuff is coming down. Here's our jar.
Okay,
This guy's gonna get painted up. But here's our jar that we're gonna fill, the big tall jar.
so, or we had another jar too, right? That
Yeah, we have our brandy snifter that we always have out.
Yeah, show that brandy sniffer too, just so people can see it. See how big that is? That's where we do our drawings usually, but that's a brandy sniffer. But the gist of it is to, George, you can show the quarters.
Yeah.
For every entry that you get that's sent to you, you'll get a quarter. Okay, so George, could you show it? Okay, so anyway, so we'll be putting a quarter into the jar for you. And then, so we want to accumulate a lot of quarters. Earlier, I was looking at how much $1,000 of quarters looks like. So if you can unshare that screen. So I was thinking that if for every 5 entries that you bring, you'll get a ticket to put into that brandy sniffer for a drawing at the end of the contest. The contest ends on November 4th. So I think that's 13 weeks worth of competing. But for every 5 that you get a ticket to put into the brandy sniffer. But I will put 5 quarters for you, or 3 quarters or 2 quarters. Like for instance, Deborah got 2 quarters. We'll put 2 quarters, 2 entries, we'll put 2 quarters in. I think I got 3, so I'm going to put 3 in. And then at the end of our contest, we will make a drawing from that brandy sniffer with the different tickets. So the more tickets you put in, the more opportunities you have to win. And hopefully we'll have more than 1,000 quarters. So I don't know how much that is in dollars, but it's something. So it's $250, George says. He's very quick with doing that. Anyway, so just some thoughts here. And I'd love for our office to win that lunch. And we were already thinking maybe Summit House can be delivered to us or some other high-end restaurant, because the office that wins gets to bring it to choose their restaurant. And Maria had asked me for the link, and I made a mistake because I was misinformed, but our affiliates unfortunately cannot participate by putting their name into the drawing. But you can invite your friends and family to participate, but not your mom or dad or your siblings. It has to be your aunt or cousin or neighbors or friends you can invite. So put our office. You can even just put Chino office on there so that it gets accredited to our office. All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here today. And I'm here to help you if you need help with your marketing materials. So congratulations to Evelyn, Deborah, Myra, Scott for already putting in their social media. But this is what I was going to say. You know what? It is a little bit harder than we think. I thought I'd just send out the link to my friends and then they'll just sign it. But guess what? I have to follow up and make those phone calls. It is personal communication that will win the day, because it's hard. We want to do it the easy way, but it is about pressing flesh and talking to people. Okay. So, but this is setting you up for your pipeline for the future. Beverly, you're going to say something?
I was just going to say, did you need to remind them about getting the email so they know what it is? Because many don't go into their BHHS email. The emails that would come from the entries.
Yeah, the bhhscaprops.com.
Right, well, yeah, the one that will come to them from the entries, so they know what that's.
Yeah, I'll show you. And you know what? I created that email. Let me see if I can share my screen. Let me show you something. See, I asked Ali, she just sent me an email about personalizing, but look at this. At the bottom of my signature, I have enter to win Brush of Love sweepstakes. See that? And if you go there, it'll bring you to the Brush of Love sweepstakes.
Hi, you ready? I am ready. Let me get out of this meeting and
Where are we going?
Okay. So anyway, this is here. What you could do, let me just see if I can do a practice for you. So if we say bhhscaprops.com/brush of love. Can you see that, you guys? Let me see if I can. Okay, let me move this thing. I will highlight it and see right here, there's a hyperlink. Insert the link. You click this and you want to change it. So see, here's the link, and then I will change this to say enter Brush of Love sweepstakes. And then we'll say okay, and see how it shows up. And then when people click on it, it'll go to that website. So you can put that as your signature thing. Okay. So I'll remove it. So there's different ways. So let's figure out, and see, this is not just for this contest. This is for everything that we do, so that you can capture people's leads on other parts of your emails. So I know some people say, find out what your house is worth, but right now we're trying to win this contest. But it's not just to win the contest, but it is to create more pipeline for us. All right, so sorry to keep on talking, but call me. We can even do a Zoom training and we'll keep moving forward. Thank you all, and we're signing off. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Take care. This makes me dance. We need to move. Ready? Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a great day.